I am here talking to y'all about my fibroid story. It's a long awaited story. Um, it's been a long time. It's a long time long time for this moment to happen. Cause I've been wanting to do this for maybe a year. I've been wanting to do this right immediately after I had the surgery and procedure. But I don't know, I don't know why I haven't, but the time now just makes sense. So yeah, I'm talking to y'all now. So my story starts with I think it was 2021. Yep, it was 2021. So I was 29 and what happened? It was because I had planned a New Year's trip to LA. And I was excited about it, and I think it was the year of still the pandemic era, and I actually got COVID, so thanks. Got COVID, and so I got COVID, and so I had to cancel the trip. So I had COVID for 3 weeks, a month almost, 2-3 weeks. So I want to say that around that time, so I was kind of just quarantined for a few weeks inside the house, and I I had noticed that my period hadn't came, and it hadn't came in when it was supposed to. And I have a calendar on my phone, so it typically tells me hey, it's around this time, whatever. Even if it's a day off or 2 days off, I'm like, oh, okay, look, I know it's coming soon, and it didn't come for another 2-3 weeks, or it just never came actually. So I was just like, dang, wait a minute, what's going on? And then there was a point, so this was January, right? So it just never came, and I was just kind of worried. And I was just like, okay, but I had heard that um the COVID had it kind of affected your body in a certain way. So some people you will miss your period or something, you would get a period. So that was I was like, okay, well that's maybe what's going on, right? Sometime in February, I think it might have been so I want to say maybe 2 or 3 weeks at this time, post getting or maybe 6 weeks post having COVID or getting it initially. Around February, the first and second week of February, I was hemorrhaging. Y'all, I was hemorrhaging blood would not stop, and it was clots, and it was this is something that never happened to me. I was so confused. I was like, what is going on? What's going on, right? So then, immediately had to go, because it was, at this point, it was just I need to go to emergency, I need to go to my OBG, I need to go to somebody, because it was not stop. I had to buy those diapers, the period, overnight period pad diapers, because that's how bad it was, and it was not stopping. It was just hemorrhaging. And then, so once that happened for it was almost, and I started to feel super tired, super weak. And this was happening overnight, because I was just what's going on? And I was just I think I need to go, because I was at a point when I would stand up, I would feel lightheaded. So I was just this is kind of crazy. I need to actually probably go to the hospital or go to my doctor. So then I went to my OBG, and I went to the doctor and set up an appointment, an emergency, hey, I need to come to the doctor. So me and my partner, we went, and when I got there, he did because I typically go to the doctor on my woman exam once a year, right? You're supposed to do that every year, and I just recently went. So I was like, okay, I'm good, all good, right? And I went, and I've never done an ultrasound, or I've never done an ultrasound. Where they stick the thing inside of your thing, if you know what I mean. So they did that, because I never had got one. I never requested one, because I'm not pregnant, I've never been pregnant, so I just never needed to get one. So I got one of those, y'all. Why was this big A fibroid? And it wasn't just one, it was multiple fibroids, y'all. Like, at that time, February, they said it was 4. Oh, they could see 4 at least, right? And I'm gonna show y'all later a picture of like so once we get to the surgery part. There was 4 fibroids, y'all. And then once he was like, "Oh, you don't feel that? Like you don't feel?" And I'm just like, because I think the biggest one might have been like 4 centimeters or 4 or 5 or something like that. And I was just like, "No, I don't." And then he showed me. He was like, "Oh, it's right here, y'all." I have been living with this freaking no telling how long. I had this like in my stomach area. Like I had this and I'm just thinking like, oh, this is just my stomach. Like I didn't think like it was nothing crazy. Like and then once he showed me, he was like, oh no, like you have like a fibroid right literally right here on top of your cervix or on top of your uterus, basically. Another thing, did not know anything about my anatomy because what? The cervix can go all the way up. I mean, your uterus can go all the way up here. That's literally where the baby is. Like it goes into your uterus area, right? So I had a fibroid on top of my uterus. I had one like in the back, and then I had one. I had 2. Like one was like kind of like inside the wall. Like 2 that were like kind of inside the walls. So I had 4 that we knew of, y'all, because we're going to fast forward to the later part with more. So that's what it was, though. I had a freaking fibroids, and I was of course like freaking out, like, oh my gosh, what's going on with me? You know, what is it? I don't know. I don't have any knowledge, any back information. I don't have any like I don't know anything about what is happening to me. So to fix the hemorrhaging for the meantime, I had to take I can't remember what pill it was, but it was like a pill that you could take to help with like hemorrhaging or like heavy bleeding. So they prescribed that to me, and then also I got put on birth control. I've never been on birth control. This is my first time. So I was on birth control for like from February until like July. So I was on birth control, and not that I had to I couldn't even just take one because the thing is with the bleeding, it would not stop. So for like I want to say from February until June, I was bleeding. That's like March, April, May, June, July. 5 months. Y'all, like almost half of the year, I was bleeding. Mind you, I was like 29 years old, haven't had any kids. This was so I don't know like what the pain feels like of like, you know, miscarriaging or anything. So this was just like, what's going on? 5 months, y'all, of bleeding. And I couldn't just take one birth because of the way that the body works or whatever. The birth control kind of helps with stop the bleeding, apparently. But at this point, I think because the area wherever the fibroids were, they were causing like just more bleeding. So I had to take like 2 to 3 birth controls a day for 5 months. Like, do the math on that. Mind you, I still was working. I was still like doing my vacation. I think at this time I was in Hawaii. Still enjoyed Hawaii, but still I was like bleeding. Like I think where else did I go? I went to one of my friends' bachelorette trip for her wedding. And yeah, I was at my friend's wedding that year. So I was still trying to make life as like trying to like not like allow this thing that's happening to me to like interrupt the rest of my life. But it was, you know, like nobody just bleeds for 5 months straight, you know, and I'm taking like 3 birth control. I'm going through packs of birth control. You know, birth control is supposed to only last for like a month. I think like 28. It's like 4 rows. You know, it's supposed to only last for like a month. I'm going through packs. They would have to give me like 3 packs per visit or whatever. I mean, I was able to the doctor's office like multiple times a month, and I even got second opinions. They would say like, oh, you need to get you need to get the surgery removed. And that's another thing, because I didn't understand. Um, I didn't understand. Like, I didn't have that awareness of what fibroids were, what was the procedure, what were the options. Because now I know that back in the day they used to just do the full hysterectomy sometimes. I got an abdominal myomectomy, so they just gave me like kind of like the bikini cut. And they removed it through there. They do have like where you get the they have like minimal invasive options where they just kind of do it through like one of these little like holes. I can't even think of the name, but if I remember the name, I'll put it right here. But they do it through like one little hole, like two different like incisions. They don't cut you necessarily through the middle, but they do like through incisions, and they can like obliterate the fibroid through this like tube that it sucks it through, whatever. So I didn't know that. I wasn't aware. I did get second opinions. The second opinions also advised for getting the surgery in my abdominal myomectomy. So that was like my reality. Like, okay, I never had surgery before ever in my life. So that was another just like layer of just like fear and like, just craziness, y'all. Like crazy. Oh my gosh, crazy. So that was just like another like loop that I had to go through. With some other like thoughts that I was going through. It was just like, do I have to get surgery? What was the option? So, and I was just understanding like why? How did I get this? Like, what was the reason? How that was another like whole thing was like, how did I get fibroids? Like, where did this come from? I wasn't aware I never had any issues before. So I've always gone to my appointments. Why was this not detected earlier, sooner? So the whole thing was just like, people typically don't get ultrasounds when they go to the appointment. They just get the whirlwind exam, where they get the pap smear, and that doesn't check for the fibroids. And obviously, you're not covered with the whirlwinds. You're not covered to get a ultrasound. So yeah, there's a company. I can't think of it. It's like an organization, a nonprofit maybe. It may focus on like that awareness. I think it's like We Were Wired or something like that. I'll add it add it in the bio because I can't think of everything right now at the spot because I didn't do much research prior to. I didn't go dig up all the stuff that I've like learned over the few years. But yeah, I'll add it in the bio. But they were kind of just sharing people's stories about their experiences and whatnot. But apparently, fibroids is pretty common amongst Black women, people of color, and I think Black women are more likely to have it. And also another just like thing about it is that it could be hereditary, which I later found out a month before my surgery was that my mom had them, my grandma had them, my great grandma had them. Never talked about that, never knew about it. So I feel like that another layer of like awareness that needs to be talked about within the Black community. And the secretness needs to stop at this point because it's not going to be beneficial to the future generations. So I just feel like even just learning about that like a month before my surgery was just kind of literally insane. Like, why didn't we know about this? Why didn't you tell me? Why don't I know? Take your health into your own hands. Figure out do all the tests you need to do now. Figure out what's going on with your body. Have that awareness and be, just take that responsibility and being more aware of what's going on. I feel like is really important because look, I literally did not know. I did not know. I go to the doctor all the time. Did not know these things, and I feel like if I would have known, like, been able to put this on my like family history, I was like, oh yeah, my family has fibroids. Like I didn't even know that existed. Through this experience, I was able to find it out. So I feel like I know for sure that family, heritage, lineage, that's a factor. Not having kids by a certain age, especially when you get older. Something with the hormones, stuff like that, is another thing. So yeah, having kids by a certain age, hereditary, and there's like a list of other things that I can't even think of right now, but the cause of them, they still don't even know why they pop up, why they, happen. while they grow in the uterus, but that's what happens to me. So back to the story. So from February to July, I'm literally hemorrhaging, literally having to take these birth control pills for like 3 birth control pills a day, 2 to 3 a day for months. And yeah, that was my life. So it got to a point where like the bleeding just never stopped. It didn't stop. Like no matter how many birth controls I would take, it would minimize the bleeding sometimes, and like the clots. Like I would get huge clots, like crazy huge clots, y'all. Like big clots. I have pictures, but I'm not gonna show it. I'm gonna show pictures of just my. I took a picture of my stomach, so I realized like, oh, this is like not normal. Like on my stomach, this like lump. And then also I have pictures of the surgery of my actual fibroids that they took off. So I'm gonna get to that. So I'm gonna say like after my friend's wedding, because I was like, let me make sure I wanted to show up for my friend, be at her wedding. And her wedding was in July. So I was just like that week after, like I think in June, after the bachelorette trip to Vegas, my doctor was like, you need to probably get surgery like next month. Like, he literally told me, he was like, hey, you probably did the surgery. You probably shouldn't wait any longer because it's just going to keep bleeding. You're just going to keep being affected by it. Like, you probably did surgery. And I was just like, yikes. Like, surgery? Y'all, surgery? Like, cutting me open. Okay. So, I realized that was probably the best option for me at that point in time. Because my body just was not, like, stopping. Like, the bleeding just wouldn't stop. So, it was just like, at a point in time, I was just like, you know what's best for me? Like, what's, going to be the best decision for my livelihood? So, I decided to get the surgery. This was, like, in June. I was like, okay, I'm going to get the surgery. Like, whatever. Like, what I got to do? What my insurance covers? Like, what I got to do? So my insurance covered about, I'm going to say about 80% of it, which is really good because I only think I paid, when I looked at and I'll find the paper and give y'all like actual costs because I kept track of everything. But I want to say the surgery was about 30K, y'all. I'm not going to lie, like without insurance. I have insurance, so. I think it might have been 20K, 30K. I can't remember. But if I find the paper before editing, I'll like put kind of like the price like range of what it was. And then out of pocket, I only had to pay, I think when I got the surgery procedure done, I only had to pay $500, y'all. Y'all gotta get insurance. 500. I only had to pay $500. That's still a lot. That's still pretty steep, but compared to the 30K, 20K, 40K, whatever the K was. I'll pay $500. So I had to pay $500 up front. And then I think I had to pay like $500 like after the surgery, which was like kind of like a payment they sent from the hospital for my stay, for my procedure, and everything like that. So that was like another like $500. So it was like total $1,000 that I just had to pay out of my pocket. Not complaining about that. Because look where I am now. So leading up to the surgery, I had to prepare because I'm just watching all these videos. Cause I'm just like I'm just being awoken like to this whole another world of fibroids and what it is. And here I'm like watching on TikTok and YouTube people tell their stories. And this was 2 years ago, almost 2 years ago. In July, it'll be 2 years, y'all, for me. So I'm just watching people's videos and like hearing what they're saying, like what happened to them, and I feel like that comforted me a little bit more because I was just like, oh, okay, like other people that look like me, like has had these procedures and they made it through and they, have similar situations, whatnot. So that's what really encouraged me because I was like, oh, once I'm like, not one day, but like I was like, I want to share my story, like with people. Like I didn't care, like. Even though it's like a personal thing, it's like I think that secretiveness, even just like not even know my family had the fibroids or it kind of like was hereditary. I feel like it doesn't help. Not that it doesn't help anyone, but being secretive doesn't benefit anybody but yourself. Like it's like a selfish thing. So I'm not a selfish person. So a little fast forward, like I literally shared my story on my social media, like, because I was just like, just imagine how many more people are going through this and need the help, need the advice, need the like encouragement to go through with it, or just like, I don't know, just to see somebody that looks like them going through it. So yeah, I shared it, and could you imagine so many other people? Oh my gosh, like I have fibroids. Oh my gosh, I just found out I have fibroids. Even still to this day, people are like, hey, I remember when you and this was 2 years ago, y'all. People reaching out like, hey, I saw that you have fibroids like a few years back. Like I'm going through that right now. Like, you know. And I don't even think I do it for like, or I don't even feel like it was out of like, oh, I want people to like give me attention. Like I don't like attention. Like I don't like it at all. But I just feel like it was just more of like a thing that I just had to give. Like I just had to share, like to help the community, help other people who are going through it, especially women, like Black women, particularly because it's all Black women. Most of this video just help someone who's going through it, someone who's feels like scared or like nervous or like unsure about what's next for them. I feel like if you do decide to go through the surgery, definitely going to be the best thing for you because you're going to feel better. I feel 1,000 times better. Like, I feel so grateful that I was able to have a procedure, be able to pay for it, afford it, be able to come on the other side of it, be able to look back and be like, you know what? I want to do better. Like, I want to take care of myself better. Obviously, like, I don't think there's a cure. Like, I don't think there's, like, a cure or anything. Because then I'm not to mention, like, that they could come back and that they could resurface. But I think just, like, in the meantime of, like, not having them anymore, like, I've taken priority and initiative over my health, over the food that I eat. Obviously, I'm not perfect, but definitely being mindful, like, having that mindfulness of, like, what's good for the body, what's, being aware, being an advocate for yourself at the doctor's office, asking questions if you don't know, researching questions if you don't know. Because I think it's just, like, a matter of, like, having that information. And if you don't have the information, you just don't know. You just go walk around, like, blindly, like, not knowing. So, back to the story, y'all. I'm trying not to, like, put that, because that's, like, the end. I'm going to put that at the end of the video. But anyways. So, my friend, her wedding was the week before the bridesmaids. So, shout out to her, Kanisha and Ronnie, forever. That next week, I had the surgery scheduled. It was, like, a Thursday. I think I took off of work for 2 weeks. And yeah, excuse me. I think I had my appointment, and I'll share like along the way. I'll share. Yikes! Along the way, I'll like share some pictures of like the whole situation of my whole surgery. So I think I have to wake up at 5 a.m., 4:30 a.m. Really. My boyfriend took me to the hospital. But before I go to the hospital, prep before surgery. So I got a pillow. Because they said that like I watched some of the videos watching was like saying that like you'll have like leaning up and laying down and stuff like that was gonna really hurt because you're getting cut. Let me see. You're getting cut like your bikini line area, right here, right? So, and that's another thing too. I didn't realize how much I use my like lower abdomen to move, y'all. I appreciate my lower abdomen so much now. Like, what the heck? Imagine getting cut there. The pain. Okay, so another thing was having loose fitting clothes because if you have like the tight fitting clothes, it's really gonna hurt you. Like, don't do it. Loose fitting clothes, having some type of like stool softener I cannot remember which one I took, but the doctor provided like I think a week's worth. And I also bought some. I also bought like stool softener because with the whole stomach situation, like your whole abdomen being like numb and like surgery happening there, it's gonna be hard for you to. Not it's gonna be hard for you to poop, but you're gonna need a little help. You're gonna need a little bit of help the first few weeks to kind of get it back to regular. You don't want to be constipated, so you gotta kind of add the stool softener into like your water, whatever your juice, whatever you drink, to kind of help you poop out. So that was another thing I had prepared for. But other than that, I think as long as I had some comfy clothes, like I think that was kind of like comfy clothes, stool softeners, and snacks that were like soft. I don't think you can eat anything really too. Well, I actually was eating the next day like regular food, but yeah, like applesauce, whatever, mashed potatoes, just to kind of like ease your way back into like regular food after surgery. So, anyways, back to preparation for the day of surgery. So I like woke up like 4:30, 5 a.m. I can't really remember because I think I had to be there at 5:30. So I was up early, and I'll share pictures like I said. I had to like bathe myself like the night before with some type of solution, like pre-surgery solution or whatever. And then that morning I had to bathe myself, and then I had to drink this like some type of insured drink. I don't know what it was, like a pre-surgery drink. So I had to drink that. And then I was off to the hospital. Was at the hospital, checked in. They put me like in a waiting room. They had me like all set up or whatever. Like my mom was there, my boyfriend was there, and what else happened? Then it was time for me to go to surgery because I think they literally did surgery early in the morning. So then they did my surgery. I like the person, the anesthesia, like the doctors came in the anesthesia. They had me take like something. I can't remember. They had me take some they had me take some like Tylenol or something like that. And next thing I knew, like the anesthesia person came in. Next thing I knew, I was knocked out. I don't even remember nothing. All I knew was that I saw my boyfriend and my mom. And then the next thing I knew, I woke up and I was in like another room. Surgery had already been completed. You know, they were checking on me. I was just like, like so much pain. Like my abdomen was in so much pain, y'all. Like, oh my gosh. Like, honestly, on a scale of 1 to 10, it was like a 10. I'm not gonna lie. It was like a 10. It was very much like a 10. It was like a 10. Imagine your abdomen being cut open and then sewn back together. Like, fun fact, or not even a fun fact, it's just a fact. Once you get a surgery, like a procedure, a myomectomy, abdominal myomectomy, you have to get C-section moving forward. I was just like, and I don't think I was really like a anti like C-section type of like person. You know, if I do decide when I decide to have kids, but I was just like, I was just thinking like, I have to go through this again. Like I didn't really care about like, like having a natural birth or whatever. Like obviously it's perks to having it, but yeah, I'm gonna have to have a C-section. So if I decide to have, hopefully I have twins or triplets or something. Not triplets, but twins or something, because every time I decide to have a kid, I'm gonna have to get a C-section. So that's a whole other thing. It'll be worth it. It'll be worth it. So I'm not really tripping on that, but I just feel like that pain was just out of this world crazy, right? So they fed me. I was in the hospital about like a day. Yeah, I was in the hospital about a day. And the next day I left. But yeah, that day I had my family come over to visit. Like they were all there. The next day my family came to visit. Like the food was pretty good. It was pretty okay. I think I have some videos, y'all. I have video. What was I thinking? I was just like, what the heck is going on? So I tried to record some stuff. it was so painful. My mom was there. It was so painful to get to sit up, y'all. I had to, like, most of the time I was laying back 90% of the time. Sitting up was so hard. Sitting up was so hard, y'all. And before I could leave the hospital, I had to be walking. I had to be making like laps around the like floor that I was on. I had to make a lap around, and that was probably like a 5-minute walk or something like that. Like I had to do laps every day just to kind of loosen up like the stiffness, I guess. Like, I felt like I was learning how to walk. Y'all, I was like 1, 2 years old again, learning how to walk. Crazy. So yeah, my mom was there, my boyfriend was there, my family was there. Um, and I was walking so slow. I don't know if I have a video, but if I do, I'm gonna add it. But I was walking slow, y'all. I could not walk. I could walk, but I was walking like a grandma. Like I was walking so slow. I could not. And I was like walking kind of bent over because even just the thought of like, or just even trying to make myself straight was like painful, so painful. Oh, child. So, yeah, so that was happened. That happened. I got, you know, me and my friends took home. My family took care of me throughout the way. Um, I could only sleep on my back for like weeks. Yeah, I could only sleep on my back. My back, like I was like sleeping like that. And it was just not, I was so not used to doing that. But I mean, I had to do it for like weeks because I couldn't lay on my stomach. I could lay on my side. I had to sleep on my back. So that was like another thing. I was just like, oh my God, I could lay on my back. Then another thing was walking. I had to like practice walking. I had to keep, not practice walking, but I had to like get back used to like walking. With the like pain. So I would go like walk around the park every day, do my like daily walk for like a few weeks until I got back to like until like the pain kind of went away a little bit. So I was like I had to like every day, even when I didn't want to. I was like, I don't want to go. I don't want to go do this. You need to get up. Like people were like, you need to get up. You need to go walk. You need to go walk. So I would walk around this like lake, like walk at the park. I was just like, oh my gosh, it's so painful. So, but over time, like it started to feel a little bit better. I kind of had like the numbness in my like where my incision is was there for like a long time. Like I couldn't feel my stomach. Like not that you can feel your stomach, but it was just numb for a long time, a really really long time. And I didn't understand why. I was just like, why is my stomach still numb? It's like been 2 weeks, but yeah, that's like another thing that I've heard from even other people's videos. Is like you're kind of like you kind of lose like sensation there. So that was fine, whatever. So I finally got back to normal or somewhat normal, where I could like walk and start driving. Oh yeah, I couldn't drive for like 2 weeks or 3 weeks. I couldn't drive. And then when I first got back to driving, it felt weird because I was like I hadn't drove in like 2-3 weeks. It was like kind of weird. What else? I feel like also too, can't do any activities. Really not too much like sweating or anything. No type of activity, like active stuff for a while. And I feel like after that, I think after that I had like maybe like a 2-week check-in with my doctor, my OBG. YN, and then I think I had like a month check-in. Then I think I had like a 3 or 6 month check-in. And then I think I had a year check-in. And now I'll just go back to my yearlies because I'm kind of back to the normal program. But yeah, that was pretty much my procedure. That's how everything went. I was gonna say that I feel like my support system really made the process really not as bad as it could have been. Because I had people that were there to take care of me, to like help me do things, to really just be there for me. Because I was like help, help. Most of the days. And I feel like after that moment, because it was like, I think I was 29. It was like my last year in my 20s. It was like the craziest last year in my 20s. Because it's like pandemic had happened. Then it was like, oh, I got the chicken. Fibroids pissed me off. And then I was just like, in my 30s was coming up like in a few months. So I was just like, like I feel like I was like, I need to celebrate this because I wasn't gonna do it for my 30th. I didn't know what I wanted to do. I wanted to either because July to October is like a few months, like 45 months. So I was just like, I was like, oh, I don't want to do anything, blah blah blah. And then after that surgery, I was just like, I think I'm gonna do a party. Cause I was just like, it was just such a like toll taken on me. Like that year, like almost half of the year, y'all. From freaking January until July. That's like 7 months. That's most of the year. Most of the year I was going through the craziest thing ever that I could imagine. Most of 2022. Like, can y'all like process that? Going through something for like 7 months and not knowing what's gonna happen, not knowing what's next, blah blah blah. So I was like, I have to celebrate my birthday in October. So I did. And also too, another thing was that I wanted to see these freaking fibroids, y'all. Like, I wanted to see it. I wanted to look at them. I wanted to have a staring contest with these things. So, I was able to see them, unfortunately. But my doctor did say it to me. He did text them to me. And y'all, these are what the fibroids look like. Okay? Like I said before, in February, what did I say, y'all? There was only 4. There was only 4, right, y'all? Also, discretion advisory. Let's get into the 4. So, like I was saying, discretion advisory. Okay. Why was it at 8? Fibroid, y'all. Look at the picture. So there was one really big one. Then there was like a few other like medium-sized ones. There are some like really, really small ones that were kind of like undetectable. So that's kind of why it was like 8. But from what he could see over the past few months, it was only like those 4. So yeah, y'all, I had 8 fibroids that he ended up getting. So that was another part. But anyways, long story short, I was able to get the surgery done. I'm in better state of health than I've ever been, because that year was just like, I don't know, like I just was tired all the time. The symptoms are there. I was tired all the time. My periods were like crazy. My periods were crazy. Pain. Freaking cramps were like on 10. Like, it was, the symptoms were there. Did I know? No. But now, almost 2 years post-op, like, I can say that probably the best decision I've ever made for myself was to get the surgery done. My period maybe lasts like 3 to 4 days, 5 days. No barely any cramps. And if there's cramps, it's barely. On my day 2, my second day, periods used to be so heavy. Like, used to be so heavy, y'all. I would mess up there's been so many times I would mess up my clothes, mess up my pants, mess up my, out with friends, messing up my stuff. Like, that's how bad my period was. Like, I didn't want to go out anymore. Messing up my clothes. So, I feel like best decision I ever could make, would just definitely suggest it if that's something that you want to do. Whatever you want to do. Definitely a great decision. I feel like I'm more capable of doing like my exercises now more often without being tired. Like, I can do my work without being tired. Yeah, I was just tired. Like, and most of the time they say, oh, like you're anemic, blah, blah. I wasn't even anemic. It was freaking fibroids, freaking draining everything out of me. So yeah, that's the story, my fibroid story. If you have any other questions, let me know in the comments. I mean, I'll do my best to try to, like, I feel like I tried to talk on every subject that I could. That would be helpful for y'all, specifically people who are going through it or people who know somebody that's going through it. I don't know, like I want to continue to just share things that are like real. Like I don't want to sugarcoat. I don't got time for that. Like we don't have time for that to be sugarcoat nothing. So yeah, that's my story, my fibroid story. I'm gonna get you. It's just like having like a my resolution for it is to just like sustain like a more active, healthy, because people take healthy and like run with it. Somewhat healthy for you lifestyle, which is getting your sleep, you know minimizing stress, eating the foods that you need to. What else? Exercising, getting those steps in. Whatever type of exercise, whether that's like walking, whether that's Pilates, because I'm a Pilates girl, whether that's running, whether that's, it literally could be anything. Getting your move on, getting your groove on, like getting that movement in, right? Take care of yourself. Who can you take care of? In the words of RuPaul. You know what I mean? So, yeah, that is my fibroid story. Like I said, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. I just wanted to share that. Finally, girl, finally. I wanted to share that because I know how important, I know how many people are probably going through this and just need that, like, support or just need that, like, insight to, like, what is it? What do I do? Like, what are the next steps? How do I, like, see it through the other side? Like, all those things. Like, I've definitely been there, so that's why I can speak on it. So, like I said, let me know if you have any questions. Feel free to comment, leave a comment, message me, and I will do my best to reply. And yeah, other than that, I'll talk to y'all later. This has been the Something About Sean channel. Thank y'all for joining me, and I will see y'all next time.